Hello, this is I'm So Cutie bringing you my very first Lorcana video, and this is a deck that I brought to set champs at Shop here in Milwaukee. And so we'll get right to it. It's pretty cookie cutter, close to Zan Saeed's Jafar list, but first off, we have two Chernobox followers. This would be my 10th one drop. I wanted the ability to take the draw whenever I could, especially in search of things like friends or some of my board wipes when things got bad. So he's kind of a tech piece, not very necessary. I think I would have preferred Broom over Chernobog. Next up, pretty standard, the 4 Little Robin Hoods. You know exactly why he's here, hitting things and going into Robin Hood. And then I went for Diablo. 4 Diablo seems pretty bad, considering your opponent has to decide whether or not you take the draw. But on the draw, especially into losing matchups like other steel decks, green steel or steel song, I wanted the ability to always drain their resources and then take a draw myself. And I think Diablo gets overlooked for that. He is always there to sack a resource, and they don't know if I play Snake into Fox. And so this baiting Snake into Fox, like the idea of me being purple, is really huge. And I think that people overlook that aspect of it. And I believe he is a power 1-drop on the draw. And even on the play, he creates a lot of tempo into games like Red. Up next, we have the 2-drop Jafar. Something that I like about him, besides just being a shift target for the big Jafar, is actually his effect. During your turn, he gains evasive. That's a huge thing, and why I teched Peter Pan in at 2 versus Zan Saeed's list at 1, because this card actually set up a lot of board wipes into a lot of games. In the finals against Alliance Castle 23, he's playing blue steel and he ended up tapping his whole board. I had enough ink to drop 3 of these and a Peter Pan and absolutely board wiped him. Super slept on. It's a tech piece. You have to think of it as more than just a shift target, and that's what really elevates the deck a lot of the time. Into another 2-drop, we have Mr. Smee. Obviously, into any matchup where you kind of have to turn on the gas, he is very good. Big body, trades out with almost anything. Questing for 2. I mean, you cannot go wrong with a 2-drop Smee. Pretty basic. Into the 3-drops, we have our Jafar Challenger. I do enjoy this guy a lot, especially when they don't want to dip resources going into game 2, game 3. They don't want to dip resources anymore into Diablo. You hit the Challenger, you hit the hit. You basically take anything for free, even giving it to this Jafar, taking out genies, giving it to the big Robin Hood, taking out daisies, never letting the Rapunzel proc, always taking out full targets. This Jafar came in handy a lot of the time in a lot of my matches. Very, very good. Keeps you alive. You have to think of it as more than just a shift target. Really try to apply those effects to the board. Very standard so far. And then this was a risk. I ended up going for 2 Peter Pan. Again, Peter Pan plus these Jafars plus the Genie won me a lot of games. He's also a very good curve on the draw. They kill your Diablo, they kill your Smee, go for Peter Pan, take out the Sydney, take out anything that they're questing with, take out the Diablo. If he lives the turn, next turn sing Friends on the other side, sing a Strength, set up a Pete, set up the Genie, set up the Lamp. It's very good. Very, very good. I really enjoyed him at 2. Any more, he becomes clunky. Any less, he becomes inconsistent. So I think at 2, it was a really good spot. Pretty standard. Up next, we have the Cobra, an absolute MVP. You can bounce him back with Lamp to your own hand. You always have hand advantage. A lot of blurple in my area, and so his stat line of 4/4 is absolutely amazing. He was most of the time not even going down with an effect. He was mainly going down with just his stats. He was just a raw 3-drop that put in a lot of work, and I love him a lot. He closed out games when he needed to into blue-red items. Yeah, he performed very, very well. Up next, another necessary, I think, is for Pete. I think some Jafar lists do not run Pete, or maybe at lower counts. I think Pete is always a 4 of in most steel decks. I think on the draw, he turns things around almost immediately. Set up a strength for him, go for a strength plus a hard cast Zeus if any of your units are alive. He's an amazing card. He can sing friends. He's just like that kind of pivoting moment in decks. And obviously there's a combo on turn 5. You drop the little Jafar plus this. You set up for the wheel and you basically OTK. I mean, that's pretty nutty hands, but it happens and it pays off. So that's obviously a 4 of. Up next, we have our 4 Genie. I was very on the fence of making a split between 1 Rabbit and 4 Genie, but I think the deck running Whole New World didn't really require Rabbit, and my Zeus counts are pretty low. Genie is snipeable without any like drawback, versus like Rabbit, you get to draw a card, and they don't necessarily always want that. They're not too intimidated. But again, Peter Pan and the Genie, even Genie questing when they don't have evasives or songs, things like Green Purple or Green Steel once they're dry of songs. It's pretty easy to run away with this Genie. And so obviously he has to be a 4 of. You're also playing the Lamp. So it was my first time piloting the deck the day of the set championships, and so that's why I was kind of on the fence on tech cards. So I tried to stay cookie cutter all the way through, but then we have our Robin Hood, obviously. Amazing, setting up the wheel, setting up for a double wheel. I mean, just a giant body for the mirror too, giant body for Steel Song. He is meant to just be a body to anchor you on the field when you can't set up that Jafar wheel. A lot of the time you're going to be stuck with things like Robin, Smee, Cobra, Pete, Friends, Robin, and you don't see any Jafar, you don't see any Genie, you don't see any Lamp, and sometimes you just have to play the tempo game without the snakes and the foxes, and he is the anchor for the tempo game on the play, on the draw, every single time. So amazing card. Do not overlook him. That's all I gotta say. And then obviously for characters, our last character has to be the 7-drop Jafar. At PokeShop, I only took 1 loss, and it was due to a misplay. I have never piloted the deck, but he shifts 4-5. I thought he shifted 4-4. I made a grave mistake in game 3, and otherwise I would have gone undefeated in all matches at PokeShop, and I would have taken the win. It's a lot about navigating matchups correctly, but an amazing card. Can definitely OTK from, I think I went from like 2 to 17, and then I just hit a double Cobra off of red-blue items and absolutely swept. So obvious 4 of. And then I was really back and forth on the Lamp, but after play testing in the morning at a different set champs that I got 5th at, I knew that I had to bump this up 1 more. It's basically just a free Friends plus a free Mother Knows Best with the Genie. Definitely not on curve for me. The Lamp for me has definitely been a late game item, and it always pays off. So Lamp is very techy. Lamp, you can take back the Pete, you can take back the Cobra, you can take back the Jafar, you can take back, you can take back a lot of things that provide the on-play effect, even taking back your own Genie at times. Very techy. You definitely have to push your mind to get full value out of it. Very good card. Very good card. And I cannot believe Zansaid broke it first. Obviously, the 4 strength, you're going to go wide, you're going to be tempo. 4 strength, an obvious staple in almost every steel deck at the moment until it gets rotated out. No explanation there. An amazing card, turns it around pretty quickly. Again, another card that you kind of just cannot go without. Friends on the other side, very self-explainable. And you're playing so many 3-drops, even on the Pete. You're hitting the Friends, you're getting card advantage. You're playing with, a super techy deck, and so it's an amazing card. I was thinking about dropping it to 1 because you're playing the Lamp split, but no. Friends on the other side is very discriminately different from the Lamp. Friends is a very independently strong card, and so is the Lamp, with very different uses, and so I definitely would not recommend splitting it. They both have their effects, and very good, very good. And then I opted into 2 Zeus. They didn't really come up until I had to hit the Manor. Shark was definitely an issue. Strength, first it was Zeus's, and then I leaned into Strength once I started developing the board. I started hitting Pete bounces off the Lamp. An insane game, but I ended up taking it 2-0. Zeus is pretty good. It's just when things get really, really dirty. But yeah, super good. I don't think I would put it down, and I don't think I would put it up. I think 2 is fine. I think you just kind of have to get lucky when you see it. And then the final card is Whole New World at 3. I do actually regret having it at 3. I wish I had it at 4. There was a lot of times where my 2 Whole New Worlds were clumped, and they would, when I hit the wheel off a wheel, I mean, I'm discarding both of them. I already hit 1 to try to find like an engine, and then I wouldn't find a 4th, which I likely could have found a 4th because I had friends and lamp off the wheel. But the deck is pretty cookie cutter straight. It was my first time piloting it, so I'm pretty excited to say that I got a first place championships with it. I think it was about 18 people. A lot of Illinois players ended up coming up to Milwaukee to play at PokeShop, so I was pretty excited to win it. It was super late. The finals went to 1 a.m. Super fun. Let's go down to Mulligan Breakthrough really quick. Now, in Lorcana, I just ended up shuffling. In Lorcana, I feel like you are rewarded for taking a good mulligan. It's very likely that you are rewarded for it, especially when you're playing a deck made up of 4 ofs and 3 ofs and no less, because the likelihood that you draw into a better hand is very, very high. Mulligans are all about playing the probability, and so this first mulligan that I'll make is going to be me on the play into a blind deck, and it's just kind of a quick hand, just trying to show you what I think of as a player, and let's just get right to it. So we'll shuffle one more time, not looking at my cards. We'll give it a quick triples. They're like, oh, I think you're cheating. Let's go for a 4. Alrighty. Make a quick thing. 3, 3, 4. So our hand is looking like a genie, a Robin, a strength, a Jafar, a Robin, a Pete, and a lamp. Actually pretty good. So we are blind, and my local meta, I don't think a lot of people play Ursula, but strength actually doesn't have a lot of value here besides ink to me, and strength is a pretty high value card. I am kind of big on uninkables. I think I would take this Peter Pan out. I am on the play. I think lamp is going to be my card draw. Genie is a good curve. I am hesitant on the strength, but I do think it's only 1 back. So I will draw for 1, and I hit a Jafar. And so it's pretty basic. I mean, now that I just think of the 7 cards in my hand, right? So I would likely go into, we do not have a Jafar curve, and so we want to set up for it. So definitely go something like this. Take the first draw. Drew into a Chernobog. Chernobog is over inked, but here we have lamp. We don't really necessarily need that card draw. And a lot of the time, a really good tip is to keep your stuff untapped if you think you can be challenged. You have a lot of high value cards in this deck, like Jafars and Robins. So if it's not free, definitely do not take the quests. But just kind of playing through the first 3 turns, you know, you kind of look at it, you're like, okay, now you have to decide. And that's why we kept the strength. You know, it sucks. We have to ink it. Here you can definitely go for a lot of plays. You could definitely just take the 2 draws with the lamp, which is fine, or you could play it on a later curve after the genie, saying that you want to keep this guy alive. You know, probably just go to that. But on the play, it's pretty good. You get rewarded for making a tough decision. And yeah, so let's go for the draw. Shuffling one more time. All right, I think you're cheating. You have the wheel line every time. Let's just go for a trip. Let's go for 7. So now we are on the draw blind. So we want to stay alive. When we start getting sniped and stuff, you know, they could not be Steel Song, but in that losing matchup, we have to always keep mindful. This is actually an amazing hand again on the draw. And I think I would probably... keep these and maybe keep the Robin Hood, but I think I would do 1 again. I mean, Pete is the turnaround card, right? Diablo is that if you're sniping me, you're sniping me and I'm taking the draw, right? Jafar, a high value target that needs to be answered. And so if they do not snipe it, I think then I would go into a turn where I would hit the lamp. Simply for the card draw. but I do think I would just go one back here. It's just because also you're playing Uninkables, and if you drew another Uninkable here, you would likely need to do the Robin or the Pete. So like if I sent back the Pete and I drew 2 Uninkables, I would have to get rid of the Pete, and that's really risky. So I would keep the 1 Robin, mainly because of the shift line and also because he's ink. Chernobog is kind of high value in the late game, especially with digging after a turn. So I would say 1 again. And that 1 becomes Robin Hood. So it ended up being ink, and I think just the way the deck is shuffled right now, it's actually pretty good and pretty randomized. I haven't played any games, so I think the hands are a little bit more consistent than when I had it, but I had a lot more tough decisions. But that's kind of just the thought breakthrough of when you're on the draw and when you're on the play. And so I hope somebody takes this deck and also wins a set championship this weekend for anybody who's watching before the 24th and 25th. And yeah, good luck, Illumineers.